real difficult time with each other. The opposites are, if they don't understand each other, they're going to say, what is wrong with you? And they're going to be like this all their lives. Our kids, this happens to our kids. I'm sure you've seen it in your family. Any questions or comments? Shoot those hands up. So again, this is a picture of my mom and dad before they were married. I think this maybe was on their honeymoon in San Francisco. And she was beautiful. And she was a kind, gentle, peaceful, phlegmatic, easygoing, and a deep, deep, passionate melancholy. And brilliant. She was TWA's first female chemist back in the 1940s. She worked for Howard Hughes. She almost went out on a date with him once. Thank God she didn't. My dad is choleric melancholy, deep, analytical, and hardworking, take charge. So here I'm born, I'm the firstborn in the family, and I just want to be like Mom because I'm female. Right away, I relate to Mother because we're both female. And when I was little, she was the best. Warm, tender, nurturing. Nobody's nurturing like a phlegmatic. Anybody in here who's a nurse, you've got some phlegmatic in you. Otherwise, if you have choleric, you've got some nice. The melancholy is also very loving and tender and kind. The introverts are the really compassionate, tender, good ones. The extroverts, they're crazy. So I loved my mom, and I tried to be like her. She was so smart, and all I wanted to do was like watch, Mickey Mouse and color, and I was drawn to gold lame. And my mom called me out on that as I got older. And I told you last night, she was not very kind to me in my later years because I was scaring her. She did not know how to handle a daughter who was completely different from her in my temperament. So she was trying to make me more like her. And part of me wanted to be like her, but I was conflicted. And it wasn't until in later years I told you that I met Florence Littauer and learned more about the temperaments as an adult and discovered the truth. That being attracted to gold lame and shiny, sparkling things is not bad. And here's what my mom said to me, and this is a really beautiful truth. You're drawn to things that sparkle, but I tell you the things that have value, deep, enduring value, come in paper bags. That's a very profound truth, and she is right. But she also didn't understand that when you open that bag, there could be some sparkle in there, and that's also part of God's plan as well. So that was a source of me. It was actually a pain and a wound, but it was also a gift. Because if we just stay in our own temperament and never turn to look at the beauty, the truth, and the goodness of the others, we will be stunted in our growth and our development, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. So, hopefully you're relating to this. This whole thing about temperaments and knowing their emotional needs is, now you're in relationship with people who have temperaments. What do they need from you? This is about what you need, but it's also about what others need from you. So let's take a look at extroverts and introverts. And we're going to blow up some of the myths surrounding extroverts and introverts. Last night we talked about the human heart having 4 chambers. And 2 of the chambers take things in, blood in, oxygen, all that, and send it back out to the body. So same with the 4 temperaments. 2 are introverts who observe, analyze, take things in, hold them near to their heart, and the extroverts push things out. Feed, reach, teach, give. In and out. There's the cycle of life. You can be a double extrovert like me, or you can be a double introvert like Katrina, or you can be one of each. Your temperament is your speed of reaction. Remember we talked about quick and slow, and degree of excitability, light or intense. So the sanguine, can you read from back there, read the white letters? The sanguine and the choleric are very similar in both their responses are quick. The melancholy's response is slow, careful, thoughtful, analytical. The phlegmatic is also slow, sensitive, caring, questioning. And then back up. So again, we're going around clockwise. Okay. And the length and the duration of the response for both the sanguine and the phlegmatic is light and short. So now we've talked about how the extroverts are the same, and we've talked about how the introverts are similar. Shouldn't have said same, similar. Let's look this way. The extroverted sanguine, sunny, sparkly, childlike, and the peaceful, kind, gentle, easygoing, phlegmatic are also similar. They're very light and short-lived. They're easygoing. If anybody in here is lazy, you probably have one of these in you. Sanguines, we don't like to work either. We just want to have fun. No, everybody wants to have fun. Okay, the response of the choleric and the melancholy is also similar. One is the extrovert, one is an introvert, but both of them are very intense and long-lasting. Remember I said yesterday, Angelina Jolie scares me? She is a choleric melancholy. Deep, passionate, intense. What did I say? She could slit your throat with a glance? That doesn't mean if you're choleric melancholy combination that you're like that. I just want you to kind of get a feel of this. Is this making sense to you? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Reactions and responses can look the same between introverts and extroverts. Okay, here we have a bossy extrovert. Loud, take charge, quick to tell you what to do, quick to push you around or ask what they want, right? Now let's take a look. Do you think there's such thing as a bossy introvert? Mm-hmm. She looks just the same. So now I'm going to pick on you again, my introverted friend. She's shaking her head. I'll stop right here, don't worry. So if you and I are in a situation that requires a quick response, we come into a room full of strangers, right? And there's an emergency. I am going to move faster because I'm wired that way, but you'll be right behind, right? And while I'm in there telling people, move, move, the fire's coming, you're also going to be over there going, move, move, the fire's coming. And we'll look like the two bossy ones. And we'll be functioning the same as an extrovert. High energy, go, 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 push, 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 right? But there was a slight difference. You took a nanosecond more than I did to check out what was going on. I didn't even check. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. But you're now in a situation where you're comfortable and you know what your role is, you know what your job is, and there you go, you function. Okay? So now after the emergency is over, what happens to Katrina?
She's gone.
She's gone. Where does she go?
To
To a quiet place, right? Is that true? After the emergency's over, I'm going, okay, now what? That's the difference. But while we were doing our job, we looked exactly the same. So introverts can take charge. Introverts can lead. We have introverted world leaders. We have introverted presidents of the United States. And I hate to get political, but anyway, Trump obviously was a take charge choleric, and Obama was a gentle, kind mediator. And they both had strengths and weaknesses that they brought to the job. So being an introvert doesn't mean you're shy. Being an introvert doesn't mean that you're embarrassed and you just go around like this. It means that you move more slowly and carefully through life and you are observing first. And a lot of the time, that is way more prudent than the extrovert who's not taking the time, doesn't know how to take the time to check things out. Does that make sense? Introverts and extroverts have the same desires, but in different degrees. I told you that sanguines love to be touched and love to touch and move into people's space and be all affectionate, right? Well, so does everybody. When you're comfortable, the introverts need to check it out and be comfortable first. At home, at work, at church, where you know everybody, you can hardly tell the difference between introverts and extroverts. But in a room of strangers, when the introverts don't know anything yet or don't know anybody yet, that's when you tend to see the natural extroverts. Because they'll be the ones moving in and out most quickly. Everybody wants affection, right? But not to the same degree. So who gets drained, and of the four, who gets drained and needs alone time? Who do you think gets drained and needs alone time?
Melancholy.
The melancholy. Anybody else? The phlegmatic. The introverts, right? Do you think the extroverts get drained and need alone time?
Yes.
Oh, thank God you said that. We don't think we do, but we need the wisdom of you others to tell us, yes, you do. So here's who gets drained and needs alone time. The peaceful phlegmatic for sure. And also the melancholy for sure. The deep, sensitive, passionate melancholy. You know, they spend all their energies and emotions in self-donation. They are the ones who go to the cross, as I said. But also, the wild, out-of-control, silly, stupid little sanguine is like bouncing around, making everybody laugh, and after a while, they crash. They crash and burn, and so does the choleric. The choleric who works and works and works, and comes home and works some more, and after about 2 weeks, they sleep in for 2 days. That kind of happened to me when I got here. And I'm staying in that beautiful bed and breakfast, the river retreat that Tina and Dominic own. And I came in a day early because my flights have been canceled recently because of all the airline stuff. So I thought, I'm not going to I missed an event last month because of airline cancellations. So I came in a day early and I go, I'm going to do some work while I'm there. I look at my emails and maybe, and as soon as I got in that beautiful home, I was like, I slept in. I walked around with a blanket around my shoulders. I made a cup of tea. I looked at Facebook. I wanted to take a nap, but I didn't really need it. But I let myself relax. I let myself relax and be peaceful. And I needed that. I don't normally, as a double extrovert, give that to myself. And that's not good. The other people who get drained and need alone time are those who are depressed. Anybody who's depressed. All four temperaments can get depressed. And what do you think depresses people? When they don't get what? Their deepest emotional needs that we just talked about. When they don't get their deepest emotional needs, they get depressed. When nobody's noticing the sanguine or laughing at their jokes or paying any attention or touching them, they get depressed. They don't even know it, but they are. Same with the choleric, who works and works and works and works and nobody appreciates it, and everybody pushes against them and complains about them. So when we don't get our deepest emotional needs, we all experience some low functioning level of depression. And that's a sign to us at this age, we should all know that we need to take stock of what's going on in our life again and get it back on track. Let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of the four. Any questions or comments before we go to this next section? Are you liking this?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes, maybe the introverts sometimes feel smothered by too much affection from the extrovert.
Yes, they feel smothered by too much affection, like that little baby going, help. Right, okay. So the introvert, here's the thing. If an introvert feels smothered, what should they say?
I need space.
Do they say that? Why? Because it might cause,
Conflict.
see? So that's why they want peace, so they have a really hard time setting boundaries. And that's one thing. Thank you, God, for making me an extrovert. I'm really good at boundaries and enforcing them. You do not cross that line or I will smack you upside the head. And it's not just words with me. I will do it because I'm not afraid. But the introverts, you know, they know, especially you as moms go, do not cross that line or I'll smack you upside the head. But when it comes to time, when they cross it, you know, if you smack them upside the head, there's going to be hell to pay. And sometimes you don't follow through. And now they learn that you're not always going to follow through with what you want. And now you have a problem. I can see some of your heads nodding. So in my work with people, I also help them with boundaries, how to set and enforce healthy boundaries. Okay, let's take a look at the peaceful phlegmatic. Really, of all four, they are the most centered and stable, and they keep all of us from flying off the face of the earth. So let's take a look at their strengths. They're even-tempered, easygoing, careful, patient, thoughtful. And I highlighted this one. That's a big strength. They're very adaptable. That's why if they need somebody to cheer people up or they need a class clown and there's no sanguine, the phlegmatic will function that way. Whatever is needed, the phlegmatic is the first one to see what's needed and offer to take care of it if nobody else shoves them aside first. They have yes written on their forehead. Hello? Yes, written on their forehead.
It's not me.
Take a picture.
They're dedicated, steadfast. They're not easily ruffled, or they don't show it. They might panic a little bit, but they stay really calm and keep everybody else calm. They're very forgiving, very forgiving. Like the sanguine, they're very quick to let go. They're attentive, caring, nurturing, kind, considerate, and inoffensive. They pick up clues like nobody's business. They know when the conversation needs to end. They know when somebody needs a kind word. They just really are about anticipating other people's needs and meeting them in a quiet, beautiful way. I don't have that natural strength. I've had to pray for it and learn it. It does not come naturally to me. And so I've asked all my peaceful phlegmatic friends to please forgive me for the times that I'm insensitive and I don't pick up on what their needs are. Okay, what does the phlegmatic want? Peace, calm, no pressure. I will work for you, but don't push me. I'll sacrifice for you. I'll do whatever you want, but I need to do it on my own time. Again, though, they don't usually, if they're getting pushed, they don't usually naturally let people know that. Now remember, the phlegmatic has another temperament. So if they're being pushed and they're also phlegmatic sanguine, they'll keep it light and go, oh, well, they're just an idiot. They don't know what they're doing. And they'll just smile. If they have melancholy, they'll tend toward resentment. I'm here to serve you and you are dominating me. But they won't say it. So when you're pushing a phlegmatic to go faster, faster, move, move, what do? Go slower. Thank you. Thank you. That should be a hint. If you're an extrovert and you're telling somebody to move and they're not, You need to recheck the way you're communicating. It's that easy. The stuff is, it is easy. The phlegmatic thrives with space, structure, accountability, and encouragement. Phlegmatics are really good support. They're good leaders, but they need a good support system as well. They need accountability. Phlegmatics need calendars. Phlegmatics need lists. Are you shaking your head? Yeah? But you resist calendars because calendars by their very nature are putting you in a little box and trying to control you. Right? There's not a lot of freedom with calendars and lists. So there's the rub. Is this sounding familiar to anybody who has a phlegmatic? Okay. Question, comment?
Without the calendar and the list?
Yes, but you do better because remember, the phlegmatic it's not about getting a ton of stuff done, like the opposite choleric. The phlegmatic is about what really needs to be done, and am I the one to do it? And if I am, let me decide. Right? See? Thank you for being in the front row. So they resist anybody trying to push them. So don't push them. Encourage them and thank them. I could not do it without you. Thank you for picking up the slack. Thank you for seeing things that I didn't see. I don't thank you enough. Now, here's the thing with the phlegmatic, don't keep going on and on and on with all that praise. Because they don't like to be the center of attention either. Even though I've called out on this double introvert to be the center of attention while I'm talking, right? But you still love me, don't you? Okay. Any questions before we move away from the phlegmatic? Remember, everybody in here, this is one of your two. Not everybody, but a lot of people in here. This is one of your two. Let's look at the sanguine again. The sanguine strengths, they are bubbling with energy. They're the Energizer Bunny. Same with the other extrovert. They're playful. They like to tease. They like to joke. They like to make people laugh. They're fun, sparkling, silly. They're very refreshing. They come up with new and inventive and creative little fun things that are just delightful. They're sweet. They're childlike. They're loving. They're affectionate. And it's genuine. They're very quick to engage. They're colorful. And they're very charming. Can charming be manipulative? Mm-hmm. So these are the natural strengths. And these are all good. Just like all four. But they move into the weaknesses when agendas creep in. When fears or agendas or motives come in, then we use our strengths to manipulate people. And that's not good. What does the sanguine want? The sanguine just wants to have fun. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to have a party. Yay! They want affection. They want attention. And they want to be cherished. You are precious and adorable. If you ever say that to a sanguine, you don't even have to really mean it. They will take fake praise all day long. Because sincerity and depth to them are foreign. And again, I'm exaggerating. So they're not going to question if you really meant that they were adorable. They'll take it. They thrive, again, like the phlegmatic. Remember, those are the two easygoing ones. They thrive with structure. They need a calendar. They need lists. They're not going to get things done because when the phlegmatic is off taking a nap, the sanguine is off, playing, doing something silly and stupid. So they really need both of those two really thrive with structure. Everybody thrives with structure, but it comes more naturally to the choleric and the melancholic. They love encouragement and they love prizes. Now, everybody loves prizes, right? But sanguines really love gifts and presents and prizes. It works. Any questions? Do any of you? No, I'm just going to throw this out. I don't know if it's later in the PowerPoint. But there are not an equal amount of the 4 temperaments in the world. How many of you here are in the medical field? Okay. The blood types. Are you familiar with blood types? Obviously. Are there the equal same amount of blood of the 4 blood types around in the world?
No.
No. And if you Google that, I had it in my book manuscript. But I looked that up. Blood types. There's like 2 of the types are like 40 and 35%, and other 2 types are very small percentage, like 9 and 12%. The same with temperaments. Do you want to guess which 2 are the most in the human population and which 2 are the least?
Blood or temperament?
Thank you, Miss Melancholy, for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying. You'll notice my PowerPoint presentation is fun and colorful, but I'm not that great on the details, right? So I need you guys. So human temperaments. Who do you think there are more of? The people you know, your family, your friends.
Melancholy.
Melancholy and
I don't know. I don't know.
melancholy and phlegmatic.
Really? Wow.
Most of the world is introverted. Keep your eyes out and start looking around. Natural cholerics and natural sanguines are more rare. People can act like a choleric at work. They can be bossy, they can be in charge, but that's not their natural giftedness, their natural temperament. And I think I see a choleric melancholy in this room right here. Do you think? Have you already decided what you might be?
I'm for sure melancholy.
Okay.
And I say to myself, I'm choleric. I
Yes,
think
you're choleric.
Okay, did you hear that? Okay, yes, you are choleric. Here's the thing.
And I feel like no choice. I have to be a choleric running a household with 5 children.
Okay, that's a good point. Running a household with 5 children, you have no choice to be a choleric. You function as a choleric, being a mom in a house like that, but you might also be wired as a natural choleric, or you're a phlegmatic who's rising up to the required role. And when you're done, you got to get away from all the kids, and remember though, if you're part extrovert and part introvert, they temper each other. So you'll never be, if you are a natural choleric, you're never going to be this kind, because you've got this sweet, loving, compassionate melancholy that's tempering it. And if you are a melancholy choleric and you tend to like getting bogged down in the thinking and the analysis and the worry or the fret, your choleric would go, okay, we got work to do, right? So now she's shaking her head, yeah. So you have this interior balance of the 2 working together. It's really beautiful. Okay, I suspected, but I don't see a lot, just in my observations and watching your body language and hearing your voices and everything, everywhere I go, this tends to be true. There are not a lot of real sanguines and real cholerics, and that's probably a good thing in the long run. Let's take a look at the choleric. The choleric strengths are forceful. Now that can be dominating and painful and terrible, but we need force. There are times in life when we need somebody to rise and take down the enemy. Cut down the tree. Lift up the car off the kids, right? The beautiful thing about the choleric is they are big picture. They automatically look out to the horizon and see, well, others are scanning the details and scanning what's going on in the situations. The choleric is seeing that, but mostly looking at the big picture. So while everybody else is noticing the cockroaches here and the water pipes over here and checking out all the little necessary details here, the choleric sees somebody coming on the horizon. Don't worry, I see the truck coming. Or, uh-oh, here come the police. They absolutely can rise above the minutia of what's going on, which is important to see the big picture. And again, we need people to see this little picture and the big picture. They love a challenge. They love to win. And God bless my little pathetic self. I was doing a married couples retreat in Indianapolis last month, and we were doing the Temperaments, and a very gentle, kind, easygoing, phlegmatic man says, well, I'm definitely choleric. And he said it real loud in front of everybody. What was my natural response? Without thinking, no, you're not. I'm choleric. You're phlegmatic. Right? I didn't catch myself. But here's the thing, as with you guys, I've been here for a while, you got to know me, you've seen my heart, I know you do like me, I love you guys. So I felt safe enough to go, no you're not. But then as soon as those words came out of my mouth, I regretted them because they were too forceful. And he's a man. We're going to talk about another thing. The whole thing about the male-female thing is important too. I needed as a female, even though I was the presenter, to respect his manhood. And I did not. So I apologized. I said, please forgive me in front of the group. I go, but I am right and you're wrong. And they did. But it was a good, and that's a good thing that God does with our mistakes is if we will be aware of what we just did, we can actually bring some good out of it in the end. And that's what God does with all of us. So keep that in mind too. The choleric is, they think outside the box. They can see things that nobody else can. They rarely tire. They're very down to earth. What they want, loyalty, they want obedience, they want appreciation, and they want meaningful work. They love work. I love work. Now, everybody in here loves work that's interesting to them and satisfying and pleasing. But even if you told me to go clean the toilet right now, here's what I would think. Oh, probably nobody else wants to clean the toilet, but I would do it. And I would do it better than anybody else. And I'm not just going to clean the toilet. I'm going to clean the whole bathroom. And then I would go, you, get me a mop. You, get me this. And then I would begin to delegate. That's the strength of a choleric. Now the phlegmatic, again, the opposite can do that, but they're going to be slower to enter into it. And once they realize the bathroom is filthy and nobody's going to clean it, and they're going to do it, then they will, can you go get me a mop, please? Can you please go get me this? So while I'm barking orders, they're gently requesting from other people. And guess what? They get the job done just like I do. In the end, you can't tell. But we approached it differently. Cholerics thrive with challenges. They love order. They love specific goals. And they love accomplishment. They lie in bed at night and go, from the time I got up, I did this. I'm so wonderful. Do you know anybody like that? Okay, good. Let's look at this thing that they like order. And where are we on time again? Are we on time?
10:08.
Okay. We're going to take a break in a little bit. They thrive on order. Now, the melancholy loves perfection. Somebody here last night when we were talking about labels said they were perfectionists. Melancholies love precision and perfection. If they have part phlegmatic as well, that phlegmatic goes, you know what, we're working too hard. It's good enough. So even though the melancholy likes perfection and precision, if they have some phlegmatic, that phlegmatic will temper them and go, you know, it is this time it is good enough. We can relax. The choleric doesn't necessarily need perfection, but they do need order. And there's a difference. How many of you have drawers in your house where everything is in order? You're mostly melancholy or choleric, but how neat and perfect are they? Are the drawers neat and perfect? Yes. Then it's melancholy. Because cholerics don't need perfection. Welcome, ladies. Any questions or comments about the choleric? We're going to go to the melancholy now. Let's look at the strengths of the melancholy. They are so passionate, deep, loving, romantic, self-donating. They're very detail-oriented. And they are, as an introvert, they're very reserved. They're creative. Now, there's subsets in these. The melancholy can be the mad scientist. It can be the boho artist. It can be the super chef. There's all forms of artistic creativity in the melancholy. They're born with a big dose of it. They take a house and remodel it to perfection. All the perfect towels hanging in the river retreat in all the little perfect spots. Every bedroom having a little chair with a blanket thrown over it. I mean, everything. And so your house is so perfect. It's so beautiful. I want to live there. They're colorful and they're dramatic. They're very colorful and they're very dramatic. And here's where the opposites are a little similar. The sanguine is very dramatic. The melancholy, the opposite, can also be very dramatic. They are the thespians. They are the writers of science fiction. They are on the stage and screen. Very, very drama. They love to be the center of attention. But not like the sanguine. The sanguine says, hi, here I am, I'm the center of attention. Aren't I cute? And laugh at my jokes. Ha ha ha. The melancholy goes, step aside. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. 'Tis twice blessed. And now, I want you guys to look at me and recognize how brilliant and how deep I am, right? So even the opposites have some similarities. And that's why this study of temperaments isn't pop psychology. It's very nuanced. And if you like this and want to know more, you have to understand how we are opposites, but there are similarities even with the opposites. The melancholy are genius prone. Now, if you have a wonderful education on top of that, you really will be like one of the world's geniuses. If you don't have a deep education, that's fine. You're still going to be very intelligent and notice things and be very analytical. They're like the other observant introvert, they're very attentive. They're cautious, they're concerned, they're very enduring, and they're very loyal, unless you betray them, as we talked about. What are their deepest emotional needs? They want perfection. And part of perfection in the world is justice, isn't it? They love justice. They want meaning. They look for meaning. They want to bring meaning. They want understanding. Because you know what? They're very deep. And they see and hear and think about things that most people don't even take the time to. So they tend to think that nobody really does understand them. And they really want empathy as well. Not sympathy. Empathy. I feel your pain. You couldn't possibly feel my pain. My pain is so deep, nobody in the world has felt my pain. And again, I'm exaggerating, but that is the tendency of the melancholy. Here's another similarity to opposites. The little childlike, fun, sparkly person who doesn't get their way and falls into self-pity and thumb-sucking. So does the melancholy. Woe is me. So both of them are prone to self-pity. I'm going to share this as a total aside. I work with some people who are in deliverance ministry, and there's a woman in the group who has the gift of seeing spirits. And she said that one time she was in a restaurant and she saw a person sitting over in the corner booth, and there was a red aura around the person. And she said demonic presence was attracted to that. And it was like a magnet, it was drawing all this evil. And she said she knew the Lord told her that was anger. That was the effect of intense anger. I'm like, wow. Then she said, there was another person in the restaurant and I saw a dark black aura. And the demons were flocking to it like flies on you know what. And I was like, what's that? What's worse than anger, right? Self-pity. And I was like, I was convicted because I do fall into self-pity. My books are being canceled. And what that is a form of pride. I don't deserve that. I need that. I want that. Oh, woe is me. People don't understand me. People don't love me. No, we all go through that. Doesn't mean we're all falling into self-pity, but we have to be very careful. The sanguine and the melancholy, even though they're opposites, are both the dramatic, colorful, creative ones. The choleric and phlegmatic are more down to earth. And both of those are very prone to self-pity. And that is pretty much saying, Lord, what you have for me is not enough. That's not good. Okay. You have no weaknesses. You have no weaknesses. Only your strengths carried to extreme. Okay? So here's a gal that's easygoing and light and carefree and not, everything is light and breezy. But if it's carried to, I don't want to look at anything bad, I don't want to see anything bad, I just want everything to be good. And now you have cowardice and fear and a weakness. Can you think of it? Give me a strength of the choleric. The take charge choleric.
They get things done.
Get things done. Okay, that's a strength. Now carry it to an extreme.
Yeah.
Over others to get it done.
Lording over others to get it done, working too hard and ignoring their wife or their children to get it done, or whatever. So now their strength carried to extreme becomes their weakness. So you don't have any separate weaknesses. What happens is fear enters the heart. And this is why our Lord said, fear not, a bazillion times. Notice the sanguine doesn't care that it's the right number. Fear not. When we're afraid that we're not going to get our emotional needs, when we're afraid that we're not going to get our emotional needs, our strengths tend to get carried to extreme. Oh, they're not laughing at my jokes. They don't love me enough. I better tell another joke. And then I'm going to talk some more, and I'm going to make them laugh. So now I never shut up. So now my natural gift of light, fun storytelling becomes a weakness because I'm shoving it down everybody's throat and nobody else has room to talk. So all we got to do is get rid of the fear, bring it back in, and we'll be functioning in our natural strengths. Fear is at the root of every sin. So you're getting some good spiritual direction in with this pop psychology today. Okay, so now we're gonna do an exercise. Yes, you are gonna do that exercise because I'm gonna make you do it. Okay, this is your personality test and we're gonna keep going. Okay, everyone is a natural combination of only 2 of the 4. Okay, you're gonna take a screenshot of, not yet, because I got another one coming up that has all of them. You're either a playful sanguine, outgoing, loud, fast, silly, childlike, naive, shallow, sparkly, fun, quickly moved, excited, charming, too trusting, or perfect melancholy. Focused, deep, thoughtful, purposeful, creative, sacrificing, passionate. Don't think too much. You're one of those and you're not the other. Even though you could be both. You could function as both in a lot of different ways. But what comes quickly and naturally and easily to you. Then, after you pick one of those, you're going to pick one of these. You're either the powerful choleric, fast-moving, loud, highly productive, take charge, big picture, and you're really cold and unsympathetic. No, you are going to do the exercise, and you're going to do it just the way I tell you. Right? Cholerics can be cold. Or the peaceful phlegmatic, which is steady, considerate, cautious, careful, supportive, devoted, inventive, persistent, unruffled, and patient. The 2 opposites, the sanguine and the melancholy, as we said, they're very colorful. They're the colorful, dramatic ones, and the powerful choleric and the peaceful phlegmatic opposites are the more simple and down to earth. So there we have it. This is our exercise. We're gonna take a break, but I want you to turn and discuss with your friends what you think you are, ask their opinion, and then we're gonna take a 10-minute break after that, okay?
Yeah,